All right, so let's see how we did. These are always exciting moments. All the plans, imaginations. Huh. Didn't see that coming. Swear I don't know. Specs. All right. Whoa. Looks like I forgot a piece of wax paper. How funny is that? Because the ones that you use wax paper on come out nice and clean. Alright, so that's what that looks like. I'm going to do a little bit of work on that. It's flat. It's going to be great. So, this came out pretty well. It's, feels nice and flat. I've obviously got tape on this side. I really don't know what I'm going to do with these things. Hopefully that doesn't seem too mysterious. I keep thinking I'm going to do something to clean these. I don't have a sander. Boy, if I had some people have those power sanders, you can just feed it through. I don't have one. This is not the kind of thing you want to run through a planer, I don't believe. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may hand sand it. I keep having this thought that I could maybe chuck it up on the face plate of my lathe and turn the surface flat. It's a little scary. So it's a little scary. I still might be able to do that. Anyway, so let's. I still have the problem of what to do with the one that I forgot the piece of effing plastic, but we'll get through this, I imagine, somehow. No, I didn't forget that. This is just stuck. Everything's all right. Okay, it was just stuck. Little bits of ooze around the corners. It wasn't glued down, but it was, tacked. We're all good. We're all good. Wow, I was a little scared there for a second. Lots of tape on this one. All right, so we got lots of tape. Tape. I'm going to get rid of that. I certainly don't want to leave this film of glue on it when I go to glue it to the next thing because you don't want to glue to glue. Hopefully that isn't stupid sounding. But when the glue sets, it squeezes out some parts of the compound that aren't always the most conducive to adhesion. At the very least, you have to rough it. I believe it'd be best to have it gone, be down to wood. We'll take that up in a minute. Let's see if I can get these bands off. That'd be fun. You can tackle a lot of different kinds of round things with these bands. You have to have different sizes because there's not the adjustments are not limitless. But with a handful of sizes, which over the years I've developed, there's an awful lot of opportunity. What does happen is that errant bits of glue get into them, although it probably won't stick that well. I'll bet it chip right out. I'll bet. Yeah. This glue is not expressly made for stainless steel. Which is good, right? Yeah. Alright, so this is going to be fine. And that initial fright of the plastic. Wow. Plastic, the wax paper. Wax paper is the best for this glue because it just refuses to stick. The only thing that can go wrong, and it's happened, is you can sometimes pinch, because it's thin, you can sometimes pinch a little bit of it in a joint. You got two pieces, they're pretty well lined up. and then when you go to do the final squeeze, it catches a little bit of the plastic wax paper, catches it in the joint. That's the pain, because it doesn't go away. But look at that, that's nice. It's flat. This has got tape all over it. Boy, I need to do something on that, because what's funny about the tape is the tape adhesive on the tape isn't that bad, but the glue sticks to it. So that'll be an issue. That'll be an issue. I'm not doing this because it's easy. All right, my little disc's worked out. Everything's nice and flat. This is great. Let's go see how the barrel did, and then we'll clean out. All right. These are my leftover pieces. I think these are going to go and become the cap. Parts of them are going to become parts of the cap. All right, and now to this. Got my band clamps. These didn't feel as satisfactorily tight as the ones that I used for the caps. But it's the epoxy glue. It does not. It does not have to be in stiff contact. All right, let's get this stuff off. Well, look at those. The Kohai uses saran wrap as a release agent. Not exactly my style, but wow. All right, that's not going to come off easily. More slack. Looks like we're kind of buried a little bit. There we go. Come on, come on. All right, that should work. All right, well, that's that. Those look fine. All right, so look at this. All right. We're glued. That's super. My little spacer, keep these things from sliding in too far. That worked like a charm. It's all going to get turned out. It probably, I mean, I don't know this for certain, but it probably would knock out now. This, on the other hand, is where the glue all poured. You're catching this? This is where the glue all the excess glue settled. You know that whole mix a little bit of fiber in with it to make it a little bit stiffer? Yeah. Well, that's what that happened to be. So this, I wonder what I'm going to do. I want somehow to hook this up and get it on the lathe, turn it round, and then hold it well enough that I can hollow it out, turn the center of it out. I want it to have a round shape. I've got to come up with something that I can hook onto the bottom of this thing, that I can hold this well enough. Just don't know. What is that? What is that? I'd like to get that done. I'd like to get it done before I glue that piece on. Well, there's no reason why I have to. And this is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. You're trying to figure it out, worrying about the thing that could go wrong, You know how we're always worried about that. Anyway, this one goes in the top, this one goes in the bottom. Then I've got another 2-inch layer of this stuff to go on the bottom to make the feet. I don't know how I'm going to do any of that. I mean, the simple way is to just get a faceplate and drive screws in and hold it, boom, boom, be done. The problem with the screws is I don't know exactly where I'm going to end up, and I would hate to have the screws, the holes for the screws, remain. So the trick would be to glue something on, then screw to that. The problem with gluing something on is I don't know how I'm going to get the thing that I glue on off. But there's got to be a way. Just don't know what it is right now. I should just glue a pine block on the bottom. And screw my faceplate to that. Then turn the outside, turn the inside, and then hook up a temporary piece. Yeah, I think I can do this. I would treat it like I do a regular bowl, which I can manage to do without ending up with screw holes in it. That's what I'm going to do. And then after that's all turned, then these things go on. And then I set it up and turn it again with those things on. That part's the part I don't like. Those things. Anyway, all right. I'll figure this out. In the meantime, I need to clean those. And I need to clean this top a little bit. So I guess, why don't I just start? And we'll take it from there. Cool. All right. So, cleanup, aisle 4. I've got to do something about these things. Cool. Let's go do that. Okay, so all that fretting that I did, I just tried sanding these things with a orbital sander. They came out fine. The glue knocked right off. The glue was a lot harder, and therefore the sandpaper scraped it off really simply, and it didn't hurt the wood at all. It just polished the wood like 150 grit. Anyway, these cleaned up really, really well. I could watch the glue film as I was sanding down, and stopped when I got to the wood. I put them on my table saw, which is the flattest thing that I've got, and they don't wobble or anything, so I'm great. These are terrific. I'm really pleased. Get a kick out of that one. Anyway, so those are good. That leads me to trying to get this on the lathe to get it sort of roughed out. That's where I'm headed now. So I've got a block of wood. I've driven it into this socket. It's snug. Not that that matters a lot. And I've got a piece of wood I'm going to put in the face, and I'm going to put a center mark in this thing and put it on my lathe and put a drive spur in this thing, and I've got this, if you recall, the bottom, my little spacer block in the bottom got all glued in, so I'm declaring that's good. So I'll be able to shave this thing down. I think I'm going to be able to clean up the ends of this thing and rough it out into a cylinder on the lathe before I go through the hassle of gluing these things on. And I'm looking forward to that. So I've got this thing. I'm going to jam it on the top. I've got a little map of what's underneath there. I believe this is going to work out. And then I'll be able to put it on the lathe and spin it up and see at least what the barrel's going to look like. So let's go do that. Okay, so I've got this thing mounted up. I've got this. I hope that plug stays, but it's covered with epoxy, so it should be fine. I've got that patch plug on the other side is on, and the drive spurs are driven into it. Let's see how it goes. So it's a lathe project, so you know that makes sense. That's kind of wiggly. I guess for a while I'll keep tightening it. The spurs are wiggling their way in. It'll be fine. I'll just keep my eye on that. Don't much care what happens. I want the middle to be the best I can get out of this. I'm free from any real dimensions, but I'd like the middle to be this big and the ends to be smaller, and I'd like it to be somewhat symmetrical. Pretty simple requirements. I think I should be able to make it through this thing. I'm going to stick with this half-inch gouge, and because I'm scared. Right, so I'm loose again. Damn. Why am I loose? I don't know why I'm loose. I'm going to take this apart and figure out why I'm loose. I don't like the loose part. I'm loose because 2 of the tines are on screws that I drove in here. I'm moving them right now. Well, that was a sloppy miscalculation on my part. All right, let's try that again. All right. Pow. Let's see how this goes. Okay, what we're about to do here is come up with the axial positioning of this thing. Once I get this thing rolled into a cylinder, that will define the ends, and then I'll be able to square them off, and everything will get better. Cool. I think I'm getting there. I mean, this is a lathe project, so I should be able to solve my problems with the lathe, right? Ooh, that's a knot. All right, you're getting there, close. Change the speed. go up to third gear. All right. My drive spurs are pretty much sunk all the way in now. That's good. Well, I'm covered. How'd this come out? Ah, I'm still not done. I still have 2 flat spots. But otherwise, that's looking pretty darn nice. Got a knot hole there. Don't think much of that. I don't know about my dimensions. I was hoping for 5 as I recall, and I'm at 5.5. This I can't really tell for sure. Looks like I'm about 5 3/4. Makes sense. Seems a little bit bigger. And I've got 2 flat spots, so that means I'm not quite at 7. Or I was wrong about my 7, one or the other. Anyway, so a little bit of knot there, not bad, but not great. And a little bit of knot here. Not awful, but still a knot. Alright, let's do another scraping and do a little bit more cleanup. And then maybe I'll try trimming a little bit on this end panel that I've got in so that I can maybe get a square line on that and then maybe get a square line on that. Axial square. Yeah. Alright, wow. Looks like I tore this a little bit around that knot. That's not good. I'm going to take it up a little bit more and try it again. Sharpen the chisel. Be right back. That should do it. I don't want to take this any further right now while I'm certain that I've got my axes right, my ends square, so to speak, to the cylinder. I'm still not absolutely certain how much I'm going to take off. There's no point in sanding this thing in the process of remounting it. It's going to go a little bit out of round. I know it. So this is good enough for right now. I've still got a little bit of a flat spot, one spot, a little discoloration there. But my ends are resolved, and that's the next most important part. I could chew this down a little bit more. There's no particular reason to. I don't believe. Anyway, all right, this is great. I should do something to patch these holes now. Before I go any further. I get that hole and this hole here. I guess I'll do that. That should be black something. I'll probably use epoxy. All right. And I can't stop myself. I'm going to throw a little bit of sandpaper on this thing just to see how it's going to buff out. You know how that goes. Let me get some 80 grit. So the next thing that I think I want to do is get the rest of the bottom pieces of glued up ring, get that made so that I can mount it and the spacer on the bottom of this thing. And then at some point I'll figure out how I'm going to glue something to the bottom of that so that I can screw a faceplate on this thing so I can drill this out. All of these things will happen. Anyway, a little sanding. I know I shouldn't have bothered to do that, but I want to see it, right? Who doesn't want to see it cleaned up? That's not going to be. It's going to be great. All right. So let's. I'll take this, dismount this thing, take it over to the bench, and ponder it for a while, and then maybe pretend that I'm gluing things on for a bit. That would be fun. And then cut up the pieces for the base and get that glued up today. I've yet to think at all about the cap, but I'm going to guess that once I see this thing with the bottom on it and the top on it, it'll all make sense, and I'll know what I'm supposed to do. You got to have confidence. Anyway, great. Let's go do some patching, some dressing, some test fitting. It's going to be fun. Okay, so I've now got this piece, beautiful thing. This is going to be the bottom. This is the feet assembly that's going to go on the bottom. I came to the realization, so I'm going to pre-glue this. I'm going to glue these together today, and then tomorrow glue this assembly on the bottom of the thing. That's the dream. At the same time, I'll probably cut a block of pine to go on the bottom of that, use some white glue on it so it won't stain too much, and be able to screw my faceplate to this so that I can hold this thing once it's all together. That's the dream. That's where we're headed. So I've got this set up. I've done my little sample put together so that I know how is this going to go. I've got my clamps. A couple of clamps right here. A couple of clamps right here. Let's get them ready. Got extra pieces. I got my wax paper. Get wax paper on this. I'm ready to rock. This is great. And then I realized that when I glue this, this is going to be seen. No one's going to see it, but somebody will see this because this will be the bottom. If I glue this like I normally glue things and pour glue all over every damn place, then I'm never going to be able to get that glue out of here. It's going to leave this puddle of glue. It's going to look like shit. So I've got this scheme. I've got this temporarily put together, and I've got tape on this. I'm going to get some wax, and I'm going to put paste wax on the spot that's going to show, and I'm going to put paste wax on the inside edge of this, so that when I glue it down, everything that's not glued outside of the glue line, everything outside of the glue line is going to be waxed, and the glue will pop right off it. That's the dream. The wax won't bother the wood. I'm not going to really worry about putting a finish on this thing. I just don't want it to be covered with effing glue. So I'm going to mix up some effing glue and glue this. But before I do that, I'm going to wax this, and I'm going to wax the inside. I've taped off the area where I want it to adhere. You got it, I'm sure. That's what I'm doing next. See you in a minute. This is possibly silly, but I want to do it. Just, you know, if it does work, I'll be happy. How's that? I don't have to put a lot of wax here, but I need enough, right? What's enough? That much. That nothing will stick to that. Now, I want to be sure that I don't smear wax in places that I don't want it, like on the mating surface, this side. This is great. I was saying just the other day how the epoxy really, really doesn't stick to wax. So this is a great treatment for other things that you have in your life that you want to be near epoxy but not touching. All right, now I got a little bit of overrun on the back, and I'm going to clean that off with a filthy rag. I'm going to clean it off toward the inside. This is great. All right, that's all done. Now, I take the tape off, put the wax away. I don't need it again. Someday I'll put something away properly rather than just shove it somewhere on the shelf, but that day isn't today. All right, now we're back from that little adventure. Now it's time to keep your fingers out of the middle of that. Take this apart, and I'm ready to go. I also I'm gonna mix up some red epoxy. Not a lot. One squirt should take care of all of this. End grain. 2 squirts. Okay. And then, so I'm going to glue this, get this, all its parts glued together, and then I'm going to run over, I'm going to add some black to it and fill some knot holes in the cylinder and glue the top ring to the cylinder. Also, I think I'm all set to do that. No problems with wax or overrun because every part around that gets turned. This is the only sensitive part. So let's go mix some glue. Okay, so mixed up some glue, put some color in it. This is, wow, reddish brown. All right, so let's see how this goes. I need a place to put this. There's the place. think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to outline this. So that I know that I don't have to do anything special to the underside. Now if I could control the glue like this, that'd be great. I wouldn't have to go through the waxing and the fretting, but you know, I can't. I've thickened this some. Okay, there's that. I'm going to go just like that. I'm just going to leave that there. If I spread it, it'll just get worse. Alright, so there's that. Done. Now, I really want to put this on something other than that ring. There we go. That's where I'm going to be doing the next thing. So let me juice these up. Here. All right, go back. That one. One more. Okay. Cool. All right. That is done. Good. The ring. Now, I'm going to clean my, I'm going to get sawdust on my hands for a second. Sort of in the middle. Sort of. I assume that tightening on one side is like tightening on the other, but just in case there's anything hanging up. There, done. So that's set to go. All right, and now dropping this. So I'm squeezing pretty tight because I'm kind of concerned with those ring pieces may not be all perfectly in line and flat. I mean, I've got them pulled in and some pressure on them. So if they're in the wrong place, I've got them squeezed into that wrong place. So a little bit of extra effort to squeeze them down, make them flat. That's that. That's, it's glued. Hopefully it's in the right place. I mean, you just don't know. But there it is, done. So let's now move on. Next thing I want to do is make some black epoxy and then glue that other thing. Let's go do that. Okay. I've got some graphite. I've got these couple of knot holes, right? It's not a big deal. But a couple of knot holes, and I want that one on the other side opposite, and I want them filled. I don't know that I'm going to need it because I'm going to change the shape yet again a little bit, but you know, let's just be right. So this joint right here, I don't particularly care if it's red or not, so I'm thinking I'm going to go black. I've got some graphite, and all right, so now let's black this up. So first, I want to do these knot holes. There you go. It won't run now. It's got no place to run to. That's great. Now I got a little bit bigger hole, a little bit more challenging, but not much. So I'm going to glue the bottom of this doesn't much matter where I get it, because it's going to all, every bit of excess is going to get turned away. This is all end grain, so if I don't do this, this will easily starve. The end grain will soak up so much epoxy that it could easily starve the glue line. And we don't want that. And there's no reason to have it. And I've got it set up to clamp. Alright, so there's my ring. If things go right, this will be about 1/2 of an inch thick at this point. This I want to have a little bit of a bead on the outside edge, so it'll be a little bit more than 1/2 of an inch thick. Be like 5/8, I believe. So I don't really have to come in that far. But I will, just to be sure. Alright, that's about it. It doesn't really matter how accurately this is on, because I'm going to turn it. But still, it'd be nice if it simulated center. Looks great. I think I did well. I think I did well. Okay, so now, here's my ring. I think I've got it. Couple of clamps. Shouldn't take all that many. Don't do that. Shouldn't take all that many clamps, but I've got 4. So my dream is tomorrow I'll be able to glue the bottom assembly on, and if I have this all glued also, then I won't have to go through all kinds of craziness trying to center this. There's no point in gluing the bottom assembly on and being done with all of the glue up on this if I then have to put the top on afterward. If I put it on now, it'll be here tomorrow. I'm sure you understand. I think that's about it. I like it. Been trying to keep my eye on these ribs. I want them to sort of land in the center of these segments, which has been done. And I've drawn a couple of concentric circles on this, because once the glue goes on, it doesn't matter how accurately you've drawn the line, the glue goes on, it messes up everything. So this way I know, I can see a line. Looks good. I might be a 30-second too far this way, and we don't care. That's great. All right, all glued, and now I don't know what. Think of something else to do while this is drying. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see how this goes. I'm hoping it goes well. I'm not looking forward to turning out the inside of this thing. But, you know, we all have things we're not looking forward to. That's gotta be it. All right, thanks for watching.